We have all been confronted with the question of evil in our world. It is one of the realities that confounds us, and one that we all pray every day to be delivered from. It is one of the grounds for atheism because, in the face of evil, people grapple to envision the existence of a good and all-powerful God. Jesus addressed this question of evil in the first part of the 3-in-1 parable of today's gospel. He indicated the question of the origin of evil, the constancy of evil, and the end of evil. So first, Jesus explains that evil is the work of the enemy. By that, he means the devil. It doesn't matter the type of evil in question, moral, natural, supernatural, or metaphysical, and so on. He said, an enemy has done this. He further explained that the enemy who sowed the seeds, or the weeds, or tares, as some versions will say, is the devil. And he warns us pointedly about him. This is not some simplistic, thoughtless explanation we hear people regurgitate whenever they do something wrong. This is the creator of the universe telling us what is wrong with the world he created. Since sin entered the world, in the words of St. Paul, the whole of creation has been groaning with eager longing for the revealing of the Son of God. In verse 21, it says that creation itself will be set free. The evil in our world will be routed from its bondage to decay and brought into the glorious freedom of the children of God. But until then, it pleases God in his infinite wisdom that evil continues to exist side by side with what is good in our world. Jesus also points to something that we can all learn from with regards to how the devil pulled off this heist. He said, while everyone was asleep, the enemy came and sowed the weeds. Dear friends, evil does not just spring up on us, except for natural evil anyway. It happens when we slumber, when we are not alert, when we give the devil an inch. Remember the words of John chapter 10, verse 10. The devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He has nothing else, nothing good to offer you. Christian wisdom has always advised against spiritual lethargy and always strong on eternal vigilance. Confirm Matthew chapter 13, verse 33, Matthew chapter 24, verse 42, Luke chapter 12, verse 15, Luke chapter 21, verse 35, to mention but a few. Our faith is our sure weapon against the devil. St. Peter tells us to be calm and vigilant because the enemy, the devil, is prowling round like a roaring lion, looking for someone to destroy. Stand up to him strong in faith. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. St. Paul tells us to put on the armor of God, along with the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 18, especially verse 16. And you know what? The devil is very subtle and clever. It is interesting that the weeds became noticeable only not when they were planted, but only when they began to sprout. And then, by that time, it was already late to weed them out because they had taken root. It is often initially unobtrusive. When we let the devil into our lives, into our marriages, into our finances, or whatever concerns us, sooner than later, his presence will not only be noticeable, but insufferable. Sadly, The modern world seems to be in love with the devil. Everywhere you look, there seem to be red carpets laid out for him. Through our sin culture, widespread perversion, so much hurt and unforgiveness, hate, pride, lust, toying with magic, Freemason, tarot cards, fortune telling, satanism, and so on. Well, like Jesus concluded today's gospel, let anyone who has ears hear. Finally, when the weeds were discovered, like us, the disciples wanted a quick fix. But once you give the devil a chance and he has taken charge, there is no quick fixes. There is no quick fixes to the problem of evil in our world. Listen, the best is not to let the bad commingle with the good in your life. So they said to Jesus, to the master, let us go and remove them. But Jesus replied, no, let them both grow together until harvest. By this parable, Jesus underscores that in human societies, it is very risky trying to weed out or root out the evil we ourselves have allowed so to permeate the fabric of our lives without causing great rupture to it. It is not impossible though, and sometimes out of compassion, God will indulge us, but we may also get the same response he gave to his disciples. No, live with it. What does he mean by the harvest? The harvest is the appointed time. The harvest is the day of judgment. The harvest is the end of evil. When those who have allowed themselves to be used or tainted by evil will be routed for all eternity. That day is coming. It is the day when God will right the wrong the devil has done to the world he created. When evil will be destroyed forever. May the good Lord lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.